everyone. A very warm welcome to another exciting episode of Psychology Talks. And today we're gonna discuss one of my favorite topic. And why it's favorite? Because it is my profession also. And we're gonna talk about consumer psychology and why it is important to understand consumer psychology. And one reason is that when you see all these big companies making big profit revenue, and you ask the question that why their brands are doing much better than the normal or the regular ones. So my answer to this is that because they invest time, effort, and money to understand their consumer, to understand the consumer's need, and to understand what consumers want and why they want. So they can offer their service product in a better way, which actually consumer want rather than thinking that they might be wanting this or they might be wanting this. They know exactly what they want, how they want, and where they want. And in order to discuss this topic, I have invited one of the marketing guru who is the content marketeer and who is one of the best-selling author of the book, which is just let me see the name. I sensory marketing. I think he's done. I'm sorry, I couldn't read. Uh, Anyways, when he'll be joining, I will ask him to tell the title of the book. He has more than 10 years of experience in marketing and he is specialized in content marketing and strategy. He's helping brands to understand what their customers or consumer want from them, and then on the basis of that he give advices, suggestion to grow their business, generate more leads and meaningful connection with their consumers and customers. And so let's welcome Novnish Ramesh. Hello Novnish, thank you so much for joining us today. It's an honor to have you here.
Hi, I'm Brain. Thank you for having me here again. I think it's the second time I'm coming back, and it's a
Yes.
pleasure to always talk to you.
Yes, and I must mention that he was one of the like actually the second guest when I started in the psychology talks, and this at that point in time I couldn't record the 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 podcast and this live show, so it was lost, and that's why I wanted to record this session this time so I can upload it on the podcast and you can like watch it again on the LinkedIn Live or on YouTube. So it's always a pleasure and an honor to have you.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. I actually couldn't find the name of your book, so also let us know the name of your book and a little bit about yourself. That how you got into this field, any struggles you face to pursue your career in this field.
Sure. As you rightly said, I've got over a decade of experience in marketing, and I'm now specialized in content marketing. And the book is I've got two books. The first book is called Sensory Marketing and its Effect on Consumer Behavior, which is used as a reference book for foreign students in European universities. And the second book, I was a co-author, and now it's an Amazon bestseller. And that was the book is called B2B Growth Hacking Book.
Wow.
And this book actually, some months ago, also won the Guinness Book of World Records because it
Wow.
contained more than 25 different authors coming from across the world in around 20 different nationalities. So that's a big one. So yeah, I'm also a blogger, a podcaster, a speaker, and a LinkedIn micro influencer in content marketing. And coming back to your question, why I chose this particular field is, I mean, when I was very young, I was really fascinated by languages, different cultures, and communication. So I loved learning about how people communicate in different parts of the world and make things happen. And since I moved quite a lot because of my dad's job, I learned many languages, met people from different cultures, and listened to their stories. And so naturally, as I grew older, I went into marketing and developed a passion for content marketing. And that's when I also finished my MBA and I had to write a thesis. And so I chose sensory marketing as it was at that time a niche topic in marketing, which is actually very closely related to consumer behavior and psychology, because we all have five senses, right? And so thinking from a perspective of a brand having a physical store or a shop, what if a brand used all five senses to elevate itself as the sole brand? So imagine you have an experience walking into a store. The carpet is soft red, really lush. It smells really nice inside the store. You can never forget the pleasant fragrance. You're offered something to eat or drink. The flavor and taste is incredible, and you've had nothing like it before. So it instantly stimulates your mouth to water. So that is sensory marketing. So anything that captivates every part of your body. So yeah, after that, of course, I invested heavily in myself to master content marketing and copywriting. I learned from the best courses, workshops, masters, and tutors. And eventually, I also mastered storytelling. So that was
Okay.
just my brief experience, I
Yeah.
guess.
Very inspiring, actually, especially when you mentioned like you learn different languages and you had the experience to encounter different people from different part of the world. And I think that is what helps you to understand psychology of the people. And then of course you transfer that experience into marketing, and I'm sure that must be helping you a lot to understand your customer, your consumers. So as you mentioned that sensory marketing is all about understanding that how the information is processed in our mind, and then you of course transformed it into how you place your brands accordingly that captures all those sensory information, or I would say the processes that a mind process to make decision in buying or something. So what is content marketing, because you also specialize in content marketing? So
Sure. I mean, content marketing is anything that uses text, video, or audio that you see around you. I mean, right now we're speaking, right? That's also content marketing, because you can get the video, you can grab the audio, you can do anything you want to it. You can upload it on YouTube, you can put it as a podcast, you can share it on LinkedIn. So whatever the content and however in whichever channel and medium you promote it, it's basically content marketing. And these days, everyone does a bit of content marketing. I mean, even you're doing content marketing. Even the people that are listening are doing content marketing. Because they're receiving the information, and of course, they're going to be doing something about it. And what's special is that more and more, because of the digital leap due to COVID, every single company are transforming into a media company. So without content marketing, they cannot be known, they cannot reach customers, and they cannot reach their minds.
yeah, I mean, absolutely. And as you said that, all the companies are actually moving towards content marketing. And content marketing, I feel that it's just that, providing information and the way to provide the information to the customer. Or I would just, in simple words, say that it's the way to talk to the consumer or the customer, right? To reach out to
Right.
them, how to reach out to them, and what medium to reach out. And especially the over the last few years, especially after COVID, the scenario has changed tremendously. So now my next question is that what were the major changes you witnessed during this COVID that has changed the scenario over the past few years?
Sure. I mean, the importance, I mean, one of the main things that I've witnessed is the importance given to content marketing in general. I mean, go back 5, 6, 7 years ago, very few people even knew what content marketing was, and it was only recently, maybe I'd say 4 or 5 years ago, that it accelerated. And the reason is that it was also because of COVID, because people were how would you say, prohibited from meeting people in person, so they had to do virtual calls, they had to do more and more telephones, they had to use more and more digital medium, using text, video, and audio. And this spiked the need for content marketing, because when you want to reach or even attract the audience, you have to really understand their needs, wants, their pain points, where they are, what they're doing, and how you can satisfy all of these needs with your content. So you had to do, I mean, each and every person had to do a lot of research through the net, because the time spent increases around the world, and it's they had to use a lot of tools to really provide an answer or solution to these people's needs, and also to be there at the right time, because people um, consume content differently. Some may like to watch videos, some may like to listen
Yeah.
to podcasts, some may like to read. So you really have to choose what you say, when you say, and where you say it to. And that's why I've seen this huge spike in content marketing, and also analyzing human behavior. And of course, in relation, it comes closely to consumer behavior, right? So it's all about science, and the connection between marketing and the science.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, that people are more dependent on the digital platform. So I think that is the main reason that, makes the content marketing more important to reach out, or even to develop any marketing strategy and incorporate this content marketing into this. And now I would just ask that, what makes a good content? I mean, how to develop a content that stand out and that talks to the consumer directly.
Um, in order to, I mean, I'm a believer that in order to really master content marketing and to get success out of it, you need to really understand your audience, your consumer. And that's where really studying or even knowing something about consumer psychology is very important, because consumer psychology is all about the study of human behavior, right? Which really involves the consumer's buying pattern, the customs, the preferences, the reactions, the feelings, the emotions. And as a marketer, I mean, not even as a marketer, as a salesperson, as an entrepreneur or a business or anyone, if you really manage to get into the minds of your customers, then you can design services, products, solutions that are way cheaper, effective, and which consumers are more likely to buy. And honestly, when you do marketing, you have to realize that much of the decision is already made subconsciously. So people come with a pre meditated mindset, and it's not they're buying because of advantages or disadvantages. It's something else that's behavioral, and which is why it's very important to understand consumer psychology. So if you can predict their behaviors, how they will decide, where they will go, when they're going to do something, then it gives you really that insight, that knowledge, and these small changes that you can make inside your marketing campaigns that can allow better success,
Yeah.
better communication. You can even also design better products, services, and websites. So that's, I think, very similar to content marketing, as I said, because we do the same thing. You analyze their needs, wants, and pain points. And similarly, it's what you do in terms of consumer behavior. So, which is
Yeah.
why you have to know both and make use of both of these skill sets.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people have already joined today, like Will from New York is saying hi. Dishan is there, and Zell Haq. So I'll just ask that if anyone has question, please feel free to ask, and we'll be happy to answer right there. Don't wait till the end. And coming back to a discussion, I think you raise a very good point that a lot of people actually make decision way before than it comes to consciousness. And as you know, that neurosciences point out that the decision is already made at least few milliseconds before it comes to the consciousness. And those are the, I think this happens because our subconscious mind already receiving a lot of information, and we have been like prone to give importance to lots of things unconsciously or subconsciously, and that's how we already decide, like for example, which product to buy. It's not there when we see it on the shelf, maybe like it just triggers it, but we actually know it, that we're gonna buy the product, and we just see it and we pick it up. So I think that's very very important, that we need to do the work before a consumer walks into the store, so to capture their attention and to convince them even before they are seeing the product. And that's very important, and I think that is why it is important to know consumer psychology and to get to know what's happening in their mind and how they actually get influenced by all the information. And now moving on further. So uh, like we say that we need to connect with the consumer all the time and to get into the mind before they actually make a decision. So how you plan to research them? Do you research only through the online, or you basically do the research, the proper ones, like the marketing research, the conventional ones, or do you think that it has evolved also over the period of time?
It has evolved over the period of time because many more people are spending time on the internet than they
Mm,
are physically. So even the changes, the decisions they take through their mobile, through adverts, through whatever they see coming up on the internet, and
mm,
I mean it's quite normal, and you cannot. Just do one type of research. You have to do much more than what you used to do before in a
yeah.
conventional way. So, from the conventional, you also have to look at social media research. You have to also look at the forums that these people are on, what type of content they consume, and if they are in any other third-party channels as well. So you have to really go wide spectrum, and of course, you don't have to do this alone. There are many tools these days that are created that everyone can have access to. So it's even though you have to do much more research, the work that you'll be doing has been helped with the number of tools available. And
Yeah.
since a lot of people are online and there's a lot of tools measuring data, I mean, Google measures whatever you do every second of the way of your life. So these metrics, I would say, these data, I would say there's much more than needed. So you really have to make sure you get the right data and you filter the data to what you actually are looking for. That's the main challenge these days. It's not even having data, it's having an overflow of data.
Yeah, that's true. And in fact, how you foresee that it's now changing, as you mentioned, that there's like people are online and they have been like tracked everywhere, as I would say that either you go on Facebook or on like any social media site, and companies are like gaining all these data, that how the consumers are actually behaving, reacting to anything. So now it's gonna change more, as you know that metaverse is coming and it's almost here. And how do you foresee that this is going to change the conventional way of marketing, or the, let's say, now it's more in like into the digital marketing, but what do you think that how it will evolve even further within, let's say, next couple of years?
It's gonna change dramatically as well in the next 10 years. It's gonna go more and more digital, and the main problem here is that the online companies, the e-commerce stores, and all of these, they have to adapt in a way that is more and more online than offline. So, I
Mhm.
mean, just an example, if you take a look at, let's say, Amazon, they're one of the largest online computer and electronic stores in the world, having an e-commerce website. They have done quite a tremendous job keeping up with the pace, using the psychology and consumer and everything, because whatever they're doing online, they're making sure to build their credibility with social proof. And even if you go onto their home page, like the e-commerce page, they have different attention phases in terms of products. So you've got let's say the attention phase. So this is the first visit that a consumer lands, and normally, if you see, it's tailored to your country, including reviews from the customers in the local language. And
Mhm.
because this is mainly because if you're coming first time to their site, then you have to trust them, right? Which is why you'll get shown positive reviews. And if you're browsing products, for example, they call it the interest phase. So basically, you've accepted they're trustworthy, and now you're looking through their offers. And as you're browsing through their products and categories, you might realize, you won't realize it, but these two have been deliberately organized to really influence your decision making process. I mean, you see ads of current offers, deals, hot topics, top products, all of that, limited offers. These all simulate your brain, and then afterwards, when you go into the third stage or phase, you have this consideration phase. So now you've browsed for a bit, you're finally getting down to choosing which product is right for you. And the tactics that they use here are explained by our behavior principles, that nudge you in the right direction. So they provide you with different pricing groups. And they're framing you into these different packages. And if you see, mostly they've got three different price ranges: the low one, the middle one, and the top one. And if you notice, the low one has the least features available, while the high price has everything you need and much more that you don't need and you're never going to use ever. While the middle one, it's got an average amount of stuff that you will use, and the price is also relatively average. It's not high, it's not low, but it's perfect for you. So that's how that's how e-commerce companies are doing it these days, and they have kept up to pace. And in future, they're going to have to provide much more interactive experiences, with AR, with VR, making you want to really invest your time, effort, and also make sure you get the interest to stay there, and buy some stuff. So, I mean, that's how I see it going. More and more extra effort from these companies that are already doing the work, and putting much more to satisfy the consumer.
Yeah, I mean, actually, you explained it so well that, the way they actually uh, move you to the desired product that they want to sell. It's not something that it's your choice, but the way they are influencing the entire consumer, like the strategy to make you buy the product which you might even not need. And that happens with me also a lot of time, that we see something that is maybe like the price off, or maybe that pops up in this on the screen, and that grabs our attention, and we sometimes feel that, okay, I think we should need this. It's not something that we might need it, we should have it. So that things comes up in the mind, and then we somehow spend, and then maybe we later realize that it was never of our use, and it remains in a store or in the house like as is. So that's what I mean. That's how these companies are actually influencing consumer. But as a consumer, we should also think that what is actually we need and why do we need. But again, like going back to the question that, like we see that the way it's evolving, it would be more technologically advanced. As you mentioned, it would be, there would be more VR, there would be like more augmented reality, and that's again, there's gonna give us more information, and that information to persuade, and the information may not be very important for us, but of course it will stimulate our interest in the product, and that will eventually convince a consumer to buy the product. But now, yeah, moving to the question that how do you see the normal shopping experience that we usually, the brick and mortar shops, or maybe the way people usually go to malls or to the shop to buy a product? Do you think that it's gonna eliminate, or it will be there, it will be reduced, or do you think that they, like, the digital experience will never be able to replace the shopping experience of doing it physically? So what are your comment on it?
Sure. I mean, that's a great question, and honestly, the physical experience is never going to go away. I would say the digital experience is going to complement the physical experience. In the sense, nowadays, there's so much that can be done with the mobile phones and with location-based targeting, so that let's say, for example, you're in a place. Let's say you're in Paris. You go into the Champs Elysees. You go you're just walking down, and then immediately in your phone you would get some kind of notification saying, hey, that's a nice offer coming up in the shop in front of you, or nearby you. And then you're immediately curious, I mean. And this ad or this notification is coming to already targeted, because you've been doing these browsings at your home or on your phone. You're thinking of buying a product, so that very same product is shown to you at an attractive price at a nearby location that you're walking. So it really prompts you to go to that place, um, physically, to buy it. So, and these type of campaigns are used more and more by huge companies in every single sector, actually. So even in cars, to manufacturing, to retail, to hospitals, everywhere, every single industry is using this. And what more is, even when you're booking a hotel, for example, Airbnb does this as well, for booking rooms and stuff. Is that you're already shown a virtual tour of the place that you're going to stay in. You're offered a video. You're offered to check out a lot of amenities and all of that. So more and more, this is happening. And even when you take care of cars, you can even test out the car at your own at your place. I'm sitting here. You can easily wear a VR headset. You can test it. You can really test it out as if you're in a car. And even if you go to the showroom, they have this simulation place sometimes. For example, Mercedes or BMW, they've got this simulation room where you're actually getting into a car. You're wearing something. It makes you, they show that you're moving. You can see, you can click to different places, you can interact. You get this feeling of actually driving. So more and more technology combined with this physical presence is increasing as time goes by. And this isn't going to stop. As you mentioned, Meta, imagine a full person immersing themselves in a digital world and giving you the freedom to do whatever you want to do, interacting with whoever you want to interact, is a huge step forward. So it's only gonna go forward. Nothing's gonna stop. So all I can say is get ready for a lot of excitement and fun.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it would be very different. I mean, like the way we used to see in the science fiction movies, and I think the future is very near to experience this, to actually see that maybe, as you mentioned, that we will be experiencing maybe the like driving the car, or even like we may. I would just say that we might not even have to go to the store to experience the car, or to experience the whatever we want, the product we want to buy, we can have the experience at home or wherever we are. Maybe even if we are sitting in the mountain, and if we want to drive a car, we can do that. So I think that is something is going to come, and it's very near, of course, with especially with the meta and with the other like VR or AR technology, we can experience this, and we can experience the world from anywhere. And I think that's the best part. But the negative effect, I would just say that like it will create more isolation. Like, people, it will take away the need to actually physically go or interact, although of course it will never replace the physical interaction, but it will minimize that's what I foresee, that it will minimize the physical interaction of the people or physical interaction with the product or the service.
I mean that already happened, you know. I mean, for 3 years during the COVID, everyone was forced to work from their home. You know, all this physical relation, this contact, it was stopped. So people were forced to do virtual calls, and
Yeah.
they had to speak over the phone and all of that. So they had to endure it, but once they had the freedom again to go back to work, people chose hybrid work. You know, people, whenever they wanted to meet someone, they would go into the office, and whenever they wanted to just work from home, they wanted to do that as well. So this balance needs to be established, and that will take some time, because as technology advances at a much more rapid pace than we're used to, this finding the correct balance is also needs to match it, and it's going to take time. So yeah, I do agree with what you said, but I'm sure we always find a way, and we will find a way to that.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so like now the time is about to finish. And so before I close the show, any advice you want to give to the audience or to the companies that who are getting into the marketing? So what maybe how they can make their marketing strategy work better?
Sure. What I can say is that don't try to think big. Just look at your resources and take small steps. You know, you cannot always be on multiple places at the same time, and you need the time to let at least one strategy of yours grow. You know, and what I can say is do it smartly, invest in the right places, focus on data more and more, collect as much information as you can. And filter this data. Focus on your audience. It's not all about selling; it's about providing a customer service. You know, and once you actually get into the people's mind, get their trust, they will be loyal to you. So do everything. Don't try to do everything, but of course try different things out, do a lot of A and B testing, and eventually you'll hit that sweet spot.
Yeah, excellent advice. I would just say that rather than being everywhere, we need to select our niche. That how we can grow in that particular niche, rather than just be everywhere, try to do everything that whatever the other company is doing. So. And that is what I have seen that most of the people, especially the small companies, that they do is they try to follow the bigger companies, and they try to do everything what they are doing, and they forget their own resources and their own capabilities. So I think your point is very valid, that they need to focus that what they are good at, and they need to start building upon that. So thank you so much, Novnish, for such wonderful discussion and insightful discussion today. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I hope that our audience also learned a lot from you. And thank you so much for coming to the show second time.
Thank you very much for having me again. It was a great time for me, and I really enjoyed being here and speaking to you. And I hope I provided insights and knowledge to your audience. Thank you.
That's great. Okay, before I actually again close it, just let our audience know that how they can reach out to you. What is the best way to, like, if they have any question, what is the best way to reach out to you?
Best way to reach out to me is on LinkedIn. So just connect with me, drop me a message, and I'll be happy to answer any questions or even have a chat with you. No worries.
Okay, that's great. So thank you so much. And if anyone has a question or they want some help in devising a marketing strategy, please get in touch with Novnish, and he will be there to assist you. And thank you so much for coming and joining, and have a great rest of the day. Bye bye.